Hello, welcome to the Daily Devotion. I'm Kathy Morris, pastor of the Dixon United Methodist Church. The letter to the Ephesians is filled with not just stirring language, I would even call it thrilling. It is a proclamation of some of the core beliefs of the early Christians about the saving work of Jesus Christ. In Ephesians, we have some of the most hope-filled and encouraging statements about God's grace that has been given to us in Jesus. Now, when we say the word grace, it has so much meaning and richness to it. But keep in mind that grace is the power of God's love and mercy that was and is active in Jesus Christ. It is by God's grace that we are saved. We are saved by God's grace and not by our efforts to be good. And so let us hear this passage. It comes from Ephesians chapter 2, verses 4 through 10, and I'm reading from the New Revised Standard Version. But God, who is rich in mercy, out of great love with which He loved us, even when we were dead through our trespasses, made us alive together with Christ. By grace you have been saved, and raised us up with Him and seated us with Him in the heavenly places in Christ Jesus, so that in the ages to come He might show the immeasurable riches of His grace in kindness toward us in Christ Jesus. For by grace you have been saved through faith. And this is not your own doing. It is the gift of God, not a result of works, so that no one may boast. For we are what He has made us, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand to be our way of life. Grace is immeasurable. Grace is a gift. And by the power of God's grace, we are able to do good works as we serve God in the world. Thomas Kempis lived between 1380 and 1471. He was born to poor parents, but he was given the opportunity for an education by the Brethren of the Common Life. Thomas entered into monastic life and dedicated himself to writing. His devotional writings have become classics. Thomas' understanding of the nature of a life of faith, we see that grace was central to what he understood that life to be. And we can hear that in one of his prayers. O most blessed grace, which makest the poor in spirit rich in virtues, and makest the rich in many goods humble in heart. Come thou, descend upon me, refresh me early with thy mercy and thy consolation, that my soul may not faint for weariness and dryness of spirit. I beseech thee, O Lord, that I may find grace in thy sight, for thy grace is sufficient for me, though the things which nature desires be wanting. For your prayer exercise, find something that represents the riches of the world, and then find a cross or draw a cross on a piece of paper. Place both of them in front of you. Then take hold of the cross and let this be an acknowledgement from you that the wealth, true wealth of life is in the grace of God. And may that grace be sufficient for you in all things.